everybody. Welcome to our What If here on the Fishbowl Sports Radio. So now, what if Billy Napier stayed at Louisiana for the 2022 season? Well, in my personal opinion, I think Billy Napier would have made the Cajuns a lot more competitive than they did in the 2022 season. I think they would have took a step back because all the one possession games that Billy Napier won in 2021. So I think maybe back 8 wins 8 wins to 9 wins, I think the Cajuns would have had that year, and I think they would have been very competitive in the Sun Belt Conference games that year. I think it's something that's worthwhile here. So, with everybody, would they have had a mass exodus for the transfer portal during that off season? I don't think they would have. I think Billy Napier and them would have kept the top 25 program together for that season here, and maybe even made another strong push here. But how many people would have left? I have no idea. But Jalen, what you think here? What if Billy Napier stayed at Louisiana for the 2022 season and onward?
There would be more Sun Belt championships for the Cajuns. And I say this because not only did Billy win when he had Levi Lewis at quarterback, but just imagine if Billy still had Zion Chris this year playing. The Cajuns would have won more games. I think even with Chandler Field starting, Cajuns would have won more games than they did this year. They wouldn't have been right there at 500. And it's not a diss against Coach Dez, who was on Billy Napier's staff and who's the head coach now. It's not a diss against him, but I just think Billy Napier was a great coach. And I think more and more more championship games they would have been in, and not only been in, they would have won. I think so. I think in terms of coming into this 12-team playoff for the next upcoming season, I think if Billy Napier is still at UL, the Cajuns, people look at the Cajuns and be like, okay, they can vie for one of those spots representing the Sun Belt and actually make some noise because they have a pretty good football team. Because overall, yeah, that was the team young. Yeah, absolutely. Losing a lot of seniors within the last couple of years. This is a very young team, but at the same time, with that experience that Billy Napier has had in winning, he could wield those guys and push them up to higher expectations, higher stats. And I think it's just overall, I think the Cajuns would have been a great team with Billy Napier still there. So it would have been fun to see him still as a Raging Cajun head coach.
Juicy, what you think about that? What if Billy Napier stayed at Louisiana? What you think would happen in 2022 and 2023 seasons for them?
Well, I'll just hit on the same points that y'all talked about. I think UL would still be like, I think they would be, honestly, I think they'd have just stayed in the top 25. I think they would have held on. Honestly, I think some of those players left because Billy Napier had left. I think some of them would have stayed. I even think Kyron Lacey, who's a kind of a significant part in LSU's offense, I think he would have stayed at UL too, never would have left LSU. I think, they'd have like one of the best offenses in the Sun Belt. I do think their offense under Coach Dez kind of, I would call it bland, I guess you could say. Doesn't really it's not I wouldn't call it a great offense, but I guess it ain't horrible. But I mean, Billy Napier's done more with less, you could say, like Jalen said earlier, with some of those quarterbacks. Like imagine if he'd have like a Zion Chris if he'd have stayed. How good, how that would this why like it's called What If. Like imagine, a team with him and Zion Chris. Like man, we could be talking about with this 12-team playoff. UL make a big push for it. I think they'd be just about champions almost every year in the Sun Belt. So yeah, I mean, we all kind of agree on the same thing. Be a nice strong push for at-large playoff berth with a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, very interesting point y'all both brought up there about how much this team could actually, maybe stick together and like do these different kinds of things here. So, you mentioned Kyron Lacey. There's also somebody else. Maybe Montrell Johnson doesn't go to Florida. Osiris Torrance maybe doesn't go to Florida as well. Osiris Torrance is playing in the NFL now. So, I mean, there's or drafted NFL, what should I say? But he did play. But anyway, so what's y'all comments? What do y'all think? Do y'all think the Cajuns would have maybe did repeat back-to-back Sun Belt championship? Or you think that would have been a bad thing for it wouldn't have mattered anyway? Would you think he would have went down the road and produce the same result as theirs. Let us know in the comment section. And if you like this episode, go hit that like button or, and share it. Thank you for tuning in. This is What If Fishbowl. All right, we good. What do you think about that one?
Nah, that's pretty good. You came up with
Pretty
that.
good. I like it.
You came up with that on the fly, and that's a great what if, because I honestly think if he would have stayed, we would have had multiple Sun Belt championships.
All right, so let me reset this again. All right, I had to pause it because I thought I was gonna. Oh shit! Okay, we got 10 minutes left on here. All right, look, guys, here's what we're gonna do.
You
We're
want to
gonna.
you want me to stay on, or you want you and Juicy just to do LSU?
You can stay on the LSU. I think it'd be fun.
All
I
right.
mean, they never see all three of us together, so this is like a 9-minute episode. So I can put this one like name of the Raging Cajun or something like that, or like the Raging Cajun stuff. So I'm
Okay.
gonna call
Yeah,
y'all back. Wait, what, Juicy?
I was gonna say, yeah, I came on late. I had some daddy stuff to do, so that's why I came on late.
All right, let me get off of this here, and we'll just do that here. All right, I'm gonna set it right back up. All right, so our normal episode like 20 minutes probably. So let's see.